Hello there, everybody. My name is Ashley Hunt. I'm the Senior Project Management Instructor here at Stormwind Studios. And I thought, now's the time to begin studying and going forth with professional development. I know things are super weird, and the good news is you have time to study, but maybe the bad news is it's not as easy to study based on the situations that you all find yourselves in. So I just wanted to provide some guidance and some best practices for studying, taking practice exams, and so on during these crazy times. So that's what this blog is all about, study help for the PMP exam. Whether you're in the middle of studying, you've taken a class with me, or even another class somewhere else, and you're in the midst of studying, or you're thinking about getting your PMP certification, there are some things to keep in mind as you're studying. Best study advice that I can give you is to take and retake practice exams. Those of you that take classes with me, you know that you have access to Kaplan online 24/7. I also give you a bunch of exam questions, and there's questions in the student guide and all of that. That's the best thing to do. Take and retake them. And just make sure that when you're taking these practice exams, you're not memorizing the answers, because exactly on this exam, you never know what kinds of questions you're going to get. Period. They're going to be different from your practice exams. The content is the same, but the questions will be packaged differently. And by the way, the exam is not adaptive. It feels like that sometimes. You're like, I'm not that good at earned value formulas. Why do I keep getting more and more questions on this? Or I'm not really strong in quality, but it feels like I'm getting a ton of quality questions. And that's just human nature. That's what it's going to feel like. But the bottom line is, when you sit down and you pull in those 200 questions, those are the 200 questions that you get. The exam is not adaptive at all. But the other thing that I want to recommend when you're taking and retaking practice exams is if you start to recognize that you've memorized the correct answer. Like, it's C, but you don't necessarily know why. You've just seen the question 8,000 times. It's time to take new practice exams. And the reason why I say that is, your score is going to go up. Yeah, you want to score between, an 85 and 90% pretty consistently. And that's tough to do. Your score is going to fluctuate and so on. But it feels really good when you answer exam questions that you already know the answers to and your score goes up. That's the red flag. That's the point in time where you're like, I got to take different questions, because now I'm starting to memorize the answers and maybe not why the correct answer is correct. Or even if you do, just remember the questions will be different on the exam. Same content, different questions, different presentation. Make sure that you read carefully. I tell all my classes this. If you're a skimmer, I'm a skimmer, and I don't ever read every single word. But when I'm studying for exams, I have to remind myself that if I'm skimming the questions and the answers, I'll probably miss something and inadvertently choose the wrong answer. So as you're taking practice exams, make sure that you slow down a little bit while you have the time to study. Take and retake the practice questions, but read slowly. I'm guilty. I'm a skimmer. Learn the content as it's presented to pass your exam, but also start thinking about ways that you can implement some of these best practices. In my PMP classes, we talk about perfect world project management, which is what you're learning for the exam. That can be very different from your real world, especially right now. So start thinking about the real world connotations of some of these best practices, like using a risk register, especially right now. Creating a communications plan, especially right now. So some of those things that you can absolutely implement into your day-to-day. Now, at Stormwind Studios, I know that's just not a one-size-fits-all as far as studying for your PMP or any exam, but there's a lot of different options for you guys. First of all, you have the live classes that are 2 hours, 9 sessions. I record everything. So if you get pulled away or you can't take a live class, you can always go back through campus and watch the on-demand version. And so that's available to you. There's also extra videos for people that are concerned about the formulas or critical path, mastering those. Review of the exam content outline is recorded. Review of all the knowledge areas, those key points, an application tutorial that's recorded, because if you've done the application, it can be very tedious. And then if you're my student, you can send me your application. I'll review it, look for any red flags, give you some tips and tricks to update it, and then you can go ahead and submit it. I also do an 11th hour review 2 weeks after the live class ends, and that's really helpful with studying, filling out your application if you haven't done it already. What are professional development units, where I'm going to cover here in just a second. and also to do practice questions live with you guys so that I can explain, here's why it's the correct answer. Here's the key phrase that pays that allows you to choose the best answer. There's also 200 plus practice questions, access to Kaplan. I mean, there's 53 hours of content in our program that has been approved by the Project Management Institute. We're global registered education providers, and all my students have access to me. Now, after you pass your exam, if you've already gotten your PMP, you know you've got to maintain your certification with 60 professional development units / hours of education. Sometimes just doing your job and other things count. But if you do need education, you're going to have that fit very carefully into the Project Management Institute's talent triangle. And there are 3 categories. The first one is technical. The classes, I have more technical classes because it has to do with other certifications like the CAPM if you want, your Agile Certified Practitioner, a lot of our Agile types of classes like building successful Scrum teams and so on, project fundamentals for the accidental project manager, and even Microsoft Project fits into that as well. Then you have another category of leadership. So on the leadership side of things, we have negotiation, building communications, motivating, managing, or leading a cross-cultural virtual team, which is especially imperative right now for a lot of us working from home. The last one is the Strategic and Business Management PDU classes. And right now we have the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, ITIL's been approved, and many of the Cisco classes that we have here are applicable because this particular category has to do with what you need to be effective as a project manager in your own position. So if you're an IT project manager, then ITIL or Cisco or some of these other things might be areas that you want to take a look at. What is a project? What if you're like, I think I want to get project management certifications, but I don't really know if what I'm doing counts. Here's a big long list. I'm not going to read them all to you, but anything that you're doing that's temporary and unique. Let's say you had to get everybody to work from home and you had to set up that whole entire thing. That was a project. So there's a lot of things that you guys are doing right now that absolutely count as project management experience that you could utilize to sit your PMP. And so a lot of times just keeping the kids out of your home office or in your Zoom meetings like, hey, how you doing? You know, trying not to look dumb on Zoom meetings. All this feels like a project. And I realize, you know, our entire world is in the midst of a very serious, massive, scary project. And they need our help, right? They need our help, and they need certified project managers to help with that. Now, where can you go for information on a lot of this? You can go out to www.pmi.org. That's the Project Management Institute's website. That will give you all the information on all the certifications that they have there. And you can also go to our website at www.stormwindstudios.com to get all the information on all the project management classes, Cisco classes, ITIL classes. Check it out. They're definitely videos. You can do demos and all sorts of things. Plus, right now, we have a lot of free resources to help out in this time, to help out all you guys in project management and in IT. So definitely come out to our website and at least check out the free resources. So that information hopefully is very helpful to you. Hopefully I'll see you in one of my classes sometime soon. And if you've already been to my class and you're studying for your PMP, if you need me, feel free to email me at ashley.hunt@stormwindlive.com. You know I'm here for you. Everybody stay safe out there. Thank you.